Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are at now episode 11 of Sunset Mirage, which is just so incredible to me because I rarely stick with a city so long. I've tried to follow along with some other builds, with some other YouTubers before and gotten a little bit farther, and I've made larger cities before, but never over this length of time. So it's quite a feat for me. And not only that, but we have also now reached 100 subscribers on the channel, which is just another incredible feat that I never imagined happening. And I am just thrilled. So, as a way to sort of commemorate those two occasions, I thought it might be fun to do a little bit of a city tour. So this is just the outside kind of aerial view shot of the city. Obviously, there's still some pockets of stuff missing, but it's coming along nicely. So I just wanted to go ahead and do a little city tour. So if we start here, this is the trumpet interchange that comes with this map, which is... Uh-oh, we've got some people dying over there. Right when I start recording. Everything was going fine while I was poking around in here just a minute ago. And now we've got people dying, of course, right when I need everything to be going better, right? It's like Murphy's Law, right? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. Anywho, we'll ignore that for now. It's called Windblown Coast, this map. So if we take a look outside, it's such a cool map. I really love it. Oh, that was way too fast. Sorry about that. It's got these lovely mountain ranges here that are all within, mostly within reach of the 9 tiles. Definitely within reach of the 25 if you have, PS5 remastered version. And then, these fun islands over here. These ones that are a little shaped like fish. Very cool stuff. Can't wait to fill out the original 9 tiles and then venture into the rest of the map. But that's a long way away still. But yes, so this map is Windblown Coast, and it's from the Financial District's DLC, which might be one of the few redeeming qualities of the Financial District's DLC, is just this map. Anyway, so this is where the city starts, and from episode 1, we obviously created this interchange here, which is just a very simple couplet system that carries on throughout the city in a couple different directions. And then, just 2 main arterials coming off of it. I'll ignore this section for now because while we did originally do some stuff over here in episode 1, we've completely changed that since then. So I'm going to go ahead down this main street instead to our first 2 residential areas. So I've gone ahead in the meantime and named a bunch of stuff in this city. Most of it pickle related. A couple other little things here and there, like the Misty Palms Oasis Park over there. But we'll get to that. So these... Uh-oh, what happened again? I love it when people just get really happy all of a sudden. I have no idea what I did. But I will take it. Not a problem. So we started over here with our first little residential area. I left everything basic on this one. I didn't do any special district styles over here. I just left it pretty simple. And we've got most of it is up to a level 5. If we check out, not that one. That's land value, which isn't bad. But where's the leveling? Here we go. Pretty much everything is at level 5, getting there, or at level 4. This is a little outlier over here. Level 3 drugstore. Oh, I think it's because I deleted a couple things because some ugly stuff had grown in. Anywho. So things are shaping up pretty nicely over here. All of these buildings have really leveled up and reached their full potential. Some little highlights from this area was this little rec center over here, which I still love. It's still one of my favorite parts of the city. It's just a little school complex / rec center. You've got our elementary school here, a nice soccer field. Big fan of soccer myself. I actually don't really watch much of it, but I used to play for a good 12 years of my life, which was a pretty significant amount of time. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this side of things. It was really simple, just that starting residential stuff. And then as the needs and demand grew, we popped over to this side. And really just the same thing. We have a couple more of our services on this side of stuff because this section was built later. So we've got our police station here, and right next to the high school, which a comment left that really made me chuckle was that I was getting started on my school to prison pipeline already. Definitely was not intentional, but it definitely gave me a chuckle. What is going on over here? What's the issue here? That's super weird. I don't know why that's happening all of a sudden. This issue literally just... everything's falling apart in the city as soon as I start recording it to show it off, right? That's just how things work, isn't it? And then we've got some cemeteries back here, which I've really just been destroying and rebuilding every time they go, every time they fill up, instead of waiting for them to empty. Same here if we look at the growth. Most everything except for these ones in the back, which were built much later, have reached level 5 or 4. But yeah, that is pretty much it for those two beginner areas. I'm pretty pleased with them. They're nothing fancy, that's for sure, but they get the job done. So then if we move back through this, whatever the hell is going on in this interchange all of a sudden, we'll go across the way to our farm. Now, it's a little bit different than it was when we originally started. This stuff is mostly still the same. I've just kind of moved some of the processing buildings to other locations. They used to be over in this area. So we have, you know, just some lovely hillside farms here, which I'm still super pleased with how this turned out on the hill. Because these assets form with the terrain, so they don't give you any weird stuff. And I just love how it looks on the, like, going on a hill. It's very organic, very realistic. You do see that often in the real world. And then just all of these kind of back-to-back farms, very sprawling, but very simple, but also very functional. So let's go ahead and check out our main building. We are at level 5 now. For a while, I think we were at level 4, but it finally went up as I built in some more residential stuff. We're doing all of our own production, and we're making a pretty decent profit, so not too bad. And then a nice little cargo train terminal to go with it that does hook up to our oil industry area over here, which we'll get to in a bit. More people dying. I was poking around in the city on 3-speed for a minute. Naming some stuff, and you know, we don't normally play super much on 3-speed here, so I'm not surprised I'm running into some problems, but kind of annoying, not gonna lie, a little bit friggin' frustrating, but it's fine. And then that is really mostly it for the farm. We do have the bakery over here, but I'll go into that when we get to that area. So for episode 3, we came back over to this side of the interchange. We came to this park and transit center. So I've renamed them like Gherkin Central Park and Gherkin Transit Center. And this area I renamed Pepino, which is cucumber, because that's where pickles come from. We came and built this custom sort of mass transit hub. Oh, all these dead people. Anywho, so we built this little transit hub, which is doing okay. If we look at our ridership, 25 or 1,200 a week, tourists 720. I went through and kind of adjusted a few lines and created some new ones off camera, but basically the ones that we started with in here are still the same. So I didn't actually change any of the original ones. I just since added a couple things. So then we have our tram depot, and we have our bus depot down here. Yeah. And then this whole area is mostly, well, at least on the insides, is a pedestrian area. We've got our nice little custom-made plaza over here, all just using vanilla props to detail this area up and create our own little plaza. And then a unique building plaza over here, the Lazarette one. So... and mostly, lots of the pedestrian plazas here going on these roads. I love the pedestrian stuff. Um, this area is not exactly how I envision things going. And if I were to do it again, I would definitely do it slightly differently. But it's functioning okay for now, and it doesn't look half bad. So I'm okay with it. It's not nearly as functional quite yet as I was envisioning in my head, but it's a lesson in planning for me, so I'll take that one as a learning experience. So we have these two tram lines, one that goes off in this direction to absolutely nowhere yet, but it will eventually go out into whatever eventually lies on this side of the map. I'm thinking for this area, I might do a amusement park. So if you have any thoughts on that, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. But that is still many, many moons away. Back on track. I just keep getting so distracted. It's been so long since we've played around in this area that I kind of honestly forget what all was over here. And then just along the line of the main road, which is part of the couplet system, it splits off and goes one way this direction, and then it'll eventually continue off that way, probably join back up again and become smaller in between, kind of like over here, and then back out this direction, where it continues off that way. So all of these one-ways I made into bus routes, because I wanted them, or, 3-lane with bus lanes, so that our buses could get in and out of here, and I ran the bus lines all the way through these two sort of... No, there was two, right? Well, here's one, and here's... Oh, no, I left that one the same. Okay. And a fire. Everything's going wrong. That's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, so anyway, just along those roads, I did just some normal... commercial zones, and was just very careful about what came in and where, and just made everything historical. And then to sort of buffer away from all the noise of this area, I created our little central park area. I do eventually want to go through and make it look maybe a little bit more lush. It just seems so bare from up above. But I do want it to be relatively simple, just a couple little things in here. So I just have some cafes, some restrooms, the chessboard. It's only at a level, it's at a level 4, which I'm surprised it even got that far. Just a couple plazas in here, and mostly just lots of trees and some paths. Again, my goal with this was really to just create a sort of buffer zone between our quaint, quiet little residential starter neighborhood and this bustling transit hub and high-density waterfront down here. And that was the goal, and it's doing it well, because as you can see, there's absolutely no noise pollution leaking over, really. I mean, there's a little bit, but, not enough to bother these guys. So it's working pretty well. Then, if we move further towards the water, we came into episode 4, where we built sort of an Oldtown, which I just very unoriginally named Oldtown. And I wanted this to sort of be... My whole mindset with this was that this is kind of the original area where people inhabited this city. Way, way, way back when, before it really got fully developed, before any of these sprawling suburbs and things came in, people came to the water. This is where boats came in and brought new people to settle here. And then as it grew, they sort of changed the landscape and made it into a historical, touristy old town. With lots of hotels and like the tourism specialty going on down here. I've got this ferry stop that still doesn't actually go anywhere, but it will go down this way probably. I should put in a ferry stop maybe right here so I don't have to redo any of this. And it'll eventually flow straight across into what will eventually be the downtown on this large island. So to kind of go along with the feel of it being an old town and that sort of thing, I threw in a couple of these hotel assets from the seaside resorts. So I've got one here and another one just a little bit down the way over here. And I think they just kind of add to the vibe of like, some things have been historicalized and kept, in their original form, while a more modern city has kind of grown around them. So that was kind of the vibe that I was looking for there. And this is just like one of the unique buildings, the Brandenburg Gate, which I thought kind of lended itself to a sort of smaller version of like a Statue of Liberty kind of area. Like an Ellis Island kind of vibe, but like on a much smaller scale. But just sort of an older building that was maybe where immigrants came over originally and got their papers and stuff and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. That's kind of the vibe I was going through there. And I've got an old historical police station. I don't know if I have the old firehouse down here or not. Let's see. Yeah, I do. Over here. Right next to this really big Brooklyn and Queens building, which is kind of exactly the thing that I was going for. I wanted to see these small, older historical buildings right next to this more modern stuff growing into beside it. But yeah, and then so everything else here is mostly just tourist assets from either the tourism specialty or the tourism parks in this section here. Like the skate park and things like that. And then I also threw a little bit of industry down here, mostly because I had the need for it at the time and I didn't feel like doing an entire industry build quite yet. These all have actually leveled up to level 2, which is more than I normally get. I almost never level up my basic generic industry. I'm not even sure I always know how, but it happened this time, and I kind of like the look of it, so I'm pretty okay with it. And then behind, I replaced the original residential neighborhood here with the Brooklyn and Queens. Originally, it was just low density, normal, base game, low density residential. But especially when these buildings were all the older style brick, I kind of wanted that vibe to go together, but it honestly still kind of works. So I'm not disappointed that these ones aren't brick anymore, while these ones are. And I think they all look pretty nice. I wanted it to sort of be like medium density, and I think I pulled it off. I almost forgot the most important part: the trolleybuses. Just kidding. They're really not that important. I know people hate them, and that's kind of why I use them. I just wanted to do something different with this area, and keeping with the sort of older vibe of things, I thought it'd be fun to do trolleybuses. Just because that tends to be like a very old-towny kind of thing. I know in my city, for example, in my neighborhood that I live in, I've seen old pictures of our main street that used to have a trolleybus line going through it. And honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed that it's gone because... Oh, shoot. We've got lots of people down here. Holy hell! Lord almighty, what the hell are you all... Where are you all going? Where are you all going? Fashionable fashion shop. They're going down to the historical waterfront. Well, shit. I might have to, I'll do that later. I think I've gotten way too distracted as it is throughout this, and I don't want this to be, a million hours long. But I might have to go through and bump up some numbers on that one. I don't really know how that works. I'm surprised it's getting so much use. But thrilled. Pleasantly surprised. I'll go with that. Yeah. But otherwise, that wraps up episode 4. And then if we continue down this road back to our couplet system, we went over to this side of it and we created this little green cities district, which I also was super pleased with. I'm totally in love with the green cities district style. And I love the sandiness that comes with each of the houses. It's so funny because normally it's all grass, but since I don't have grass in this map, it looks a lot different. So, but I think this one goes just so much better with the already existing dirt underneath. But otherwise, this area was pretty simple. It was mostly just to get some more residential expansion going on. I went ahead and decorated up some of this couplet with a lot of these bushes and ran it along down here. And but otherwise, the Green Cities district itself is pretty simple. I did both the Green Cities houses and also the Green Cities commercial, just to give it that nice, sleeker, consistent kind of look. And I also did the high school that came with the Green Cities pack, the Institute of Creative Arts, and I think it all just came together really well. I think it's just a really cute neighborhood, very simple, nothing fancy and crazy going on here. The community school as well served the purpose of giving me a couple more people in the city. The main feature of this, which I would love to get back to and do a little bit more with, which reminds me, I was thinking that perhaps at some point, if people are interested in it, I could do maybe like a live stream where I go through and do some smaller decoration stuff and revisit older parts of the city and kind of tidy things up a little. And this would definitely be an area that we revisit because I really just kind of set it up and let it go and didn't do anything with it. And I would like to. Definitely make it a lot more green and lush. But the main purpose of this area, the main feature that I wanted to kind of, I don't know, the main thing that I wanted to do was kind of respect this green area here. Most of the time, I would just delete all these trees, get rid of everything, and leave a blank, empty canvas. But I kind of wanted to make the weird, the different terrain and the different green space part of the build and actually leave it as it was. Which minus, a couple infrastructure bits and pieces here, I have mostly done. So I just made it into a little nature reserve. Very simple still at the moment, just a couple tents, the main entrance there, side entrances along the way, and I haven't even done anything over here really, just a small little gazebo. Oh no, a campfire site. But yeah, so if you would be interested in watching a live stream and just kind of hanging out or whatever and decorating the city up a little bit, feel free to drop a comment down below if that would be something that you would be interested in. And that wraps up episode 5. So for episode 6, we came all the way back up to the beginning and made this truly massive oil refinery here. So if we go ahead and find our main building, yeah, I think this one, we are using all of our own production, making tons of profit at level 5, and I think we have all the buildings and unique factories. This area. There's a lot that I like about it, and there's a lot that I don't. And this might be something I revisit in the future just to make it look, I don't know, more organic. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is exactly that I don't love about it, but there's just something about it, Anyway, so we have all of our processing stuff down, or all of our extracting buildings and stuff down here with our large oil rigs. We've got a little maintenance building down here, which I thought would be nice kind of with these guys. Essentially like, yeah, this building is to help maintain all of these structures, right? And then we've got some toll booths going into and out of, which I also might rework, mostly just because this is kind of screaming out to be an arterial that goes and connects with this other suburb that will eventually lie out that way. If you've got thoughts on it, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I would love to see what other people think about some stuff and how they might, I don't know, sort of how you all might problem solve some of the things going on in the city. But otherwise, moving back this way, we have all of our processing buildings. So we have some tank farms, we've got the large warehouse, we have the clothing factory down here, which is connecting via cargo to our farming industry back over here to Kosher Farms. And then I've got some of the oil power plants, of course, which are using oil produced locally. So we got the worker barracks here, and this is kind of what I imagine to be like administration over this way. I mean, some of it's factories and whatnot and warehouses, but I thought it kind of gave a very admin kind of vibe. Like this building, I mean, it's a plastics factory, but it kind of just looks like a normal ass building. Like an office building. A very boring one, but an office building nonetheless. And then an actual office building here, city office building from the Modern Japan Content Creator Pack. I love these buildings, and I feel like they fit in really well in sort of more office-y kind of industry areas, or like office space areas. I do plan to build an office park pretty soon as well, and I will definitely include some more of these. But I thought it just really rounded out that sort of admin kind of vibe, and then lots of parking to go along with it, and very sparse but overgrown detailing in between. And that pretty much ties up episode 6. For episode 7, we went all the way back down across to the water to build this waterfront promenade kind of thing going on here. So I've nicknamed the waterfront Briny Bay, and I have the Pickle Your Tickle Promenade, and Pickled Tink is the name of the actual district. This is just for the pedestrian area. What I ended up doing was I brought my Trolleybus through here to give it a nice little turnaround, and used a lot of the pedestrian area plazas. So I've got 2 matching ones in the corners, and then the ice cream stand and food truck plaza on either end. And then to surround those, I did both of the open air malls that come from the Shopping Malls Content Creator Pack, and around it, surrounding it, I did the Shopping Malls district style. So all of these buildings come from that Content Creator Pack, which is a really super nice one. I love it. I love these crisp looking buildings. Very reminiscent of the kind of stuff that I would find in my own city. Not necessarily in the neighborhood that I live in, but in a lot of other places. Everything here, we just call... It's just really funny to me because here, where I live now, malls that are outside are just called malls. And malls, like what I'm used to from where I grew up, are called indoor malls. Which is really just backwards from where I grew up. I grew up in Michigan, and all of our malls are indoor. And then to just fill out the rest of the space in between, after I built the mall section, I wanted to keep with the sort of rising density from over here, and keep it going along here, and I'll eventually do some more rising density going this way. So to go with a sort of like mid-density area, I did the wall-to-wall residential. And I think I've got some wall-to-wall commercial on in here somewhere. You know what? No, I think I only have the shopping mall stuff. Ah, well, that's fine. But yeah. And I left it pretty simple. I really didn't do anything fancy here. I gave it... I completed this walkway from the Green Cities district to give these people quick access to get over into this area and into all these malls and stuff without having to go all the way around. Threw in a nice little American football park over here, and then just some cute little vanilla detailing over in this area. Created this nice little rock garden, used the small playground here and created a little plaza park area over here. Some park life stuff over here with a little cafe on the corner. Well, it's not really a corner, is it? But, and then lined this path with some flower beds. Particularly proud of this area. I really enjoyed building it. It's definitely a new challenge for me to build so slowly and take my time decorating. And I've been really enjoying it. So I hope others have been enjoying it as well. But yeah, so that rounds out episode 7. And then if we move the university, this was in episode 8. So through that episode, we got it all the way up to the level 3 that it is still at now. I've gone and thrown on every single policy that I'm able to, bumped up the academic staff a little bit. It has plenty of academic works though, because it's just been building them up every year since I placed it. But yeah, so we started with obviously the normal stuff, some of the dorms, created this little area here, and I decided it would be fun to do sort of a north and south campus. So we've got this area here full of dorms. So that was the kind of vibe that I went with here and kind of mirrored them on either side. So we've got north and south campus. I have all of the sort of facilities that our students need over in this corner. We've got the gym, we've got the library, cafeteria, and the study hall. I thought it would be nice to kind of keep all of it in one specific area. And then in the middle, I just did a little bit of detailing with some statues here, and then I've got the book club and the IT club. Then these guys get to enjoy the outdoor study area. And also I threw in the library at a later time, but I thought it went well with the build, and it eventually kind of will complete out this area as I finish this area, as the college levels up. Did some little vanilla detailing over here, you know, another custom little park and rock garden. This area is super bare. I'm aware of it. It's just, I want the levels to go up and to be able to actually, get out of here, to be actually, to fill it out with the buildings, and then I'll go through and properly decorate everything up once I sort of have a final configuration of how things will look. For like decorations, I really just kind of kept it pretty bare bones for now. Created this nice little walkway that leads up to our administration building. And then so up here I wanted everything to be sort of like the admin for the school. So we have, you know, the admin building, of course, and then we also have the commencement office in the back. So if there's any more sort of, you know, admin-y type buildings, I'll throw them in this direction. Then I also decided that it would be a pretty good idea to throw in an inner-city bus station for any commuters to be able to catch the bus right into College Town. And I have a couple little bus lines going from here to the other side of the freeway, and also from here back into our transit hub. I threw this here just because shit was on fire. And then, so I have the Breslin Center here, which still nobody's commented whether or not they know where this is named from. What school is it from? But yeah, I've never used the basketball court, so I decided to do that this time around. Gave it some good old American parking lots there. And I threw in an elevated train station at the end of last episode. That will connect it to the suburb that will eventually lie over there. And also it connects down to Pickle Your Tickle? What did I call it? Yeah, Pickle Your Tickle Promenade. God, I'm dumb. Okay. That's my kind of humor, folks, if you were wondering. I do also have this area set up to some metro lines that go from... Actually, where do they go from? Oh, okay. So it just completes a line from Pepino to Dilford to Briny Bay and Pickled Tink, and then into our university, Red Cedar College. And then, yeah, I detailed everything up here with some little parks, some park life stuff again, which work really great even outside of park areas. Some plazas, a little cafe, or no, a restroom, sorry, that's the cafe. A restroom I thought would go really well with the intercity bus station, give people somewhere to go to the bathroom when they get off the bus. I mean, I assume there's probably a bathroom in the bus station, but we can pretend, right? And then some more parking. So for people who are driving in and commuting in, they have a nice little parking lot that they can get to before they head down and walk into campus. And then that rounds out episode 8. For episode 9, we moved over this way to this neighborhood, where originally lied some horrible vanilla base game industry stuff, generic industry stuff. And I reworked it, revitalized it into a nice little community called Pepinillo, which is, because Pepinillo is pickle in Spanish. But yeah, so in this area, I wanted it to be very kind of, I wanted to get away from the dirty industry and make it into something like a little bit nicer. Completely change the vibe. So I want to look at the land value, actually. Yeah, it's super high in this area. Other than along the waterfront and then obviously my pedestrian areas, this is the highest land value level we have in the whole city. And all of these buildings are already at levels 4 and 5. And this is like the latest build. This is the last residential build that I've done. but just because it is full of all the stuff that people want and need. So we have a fire station right there, giving people lots of stuff that they need. We got a police station in here, some nice some nice commercial stuff going along here. We've got the bakery, so these people can enjoy some fresh baked goods. A couple little office areas over here. Yeah, just a couple office buildings, and we have a couple more at the back here, kind of along the freeway to buffer that from the residential stuff. And otherwise, this is just like a very thriving, community-focused area. It has a lot of stuff that people can enjoy in this neighborhood. So we have the community pool, we've got the child healthcare center, we have the elder healthcare center, we have, what else? We've got a nice dog park back there. We have this lovely feature back here. We have the main attraction over here of the baseball fields, which this is still probably one of my favorite assets in the game. I am personally a huge fan of baseball. I played when I was a kid for a while. I have season tickets to watch baseball where I live now. I friggin' love baseball. Very, very American here with that. I do love my baseball. And I always thought it was kind of a bummer that we didn't have an asset like this, where you have multiple baseball fields together, because that is definitely something that you see in the real world, and I'm so pleased with the sports arenas, or sports venues, content creator pack, because of things like this. I just love that asset. I think it's really great, and I loved being able to finally fit it in somewhere. So then I threw some parking along with it, got a high school across the way, and then I threw on the European suburbia district style here, just to give it sort of like a, I don't know, like a little more quaint, but upscale-y kind of vibe. I'm not really sure. I like it, though. I think it works. And I think it kind of works well with having the farms nearby as well. Not really sure why, I just think it does. I just think it works. But otherwise, that wraps up episode 9. For episode 10, it'll be a really short one, because we did a lot, but we didn't do a lot at the same time. We ventured over to the other side of the freeway here. But yeah, so we set up, just because there was so much to do in this area, and with sort of planning out some networks, that was all the episode really was. So we threw in the arterial road, and brought it all the way down to this lovely above-ground train station, which is bringing our first intercity trains into the city. I did, if you'll notice, alter it a little bit from last episode, because I had done the bypass train station and then totally ignored the fact that it bypasses, and I built it separately from from the original rail line. Then I used our Bridges and Piers content creator pack in one of these roads, the European 2-lane stone bridge, and just didn't make a bridge out of it, to make these little fancy, brick-lined roads, which will eventually house our very Richie Rich suburb with the modern, mid-century modern housing district style. And that's going to be what goes through here. And obviously some commercial and other parks and things to go along with it. And then the other thing that we did in that episode was built this lovely little waterfront stuff, very naturey and organic, and built a little cabin rental area over here. So it's doing pretty well. It's got 97%. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get all 5 guests in there. I lowered the prices, hoping that maybe that would do the trick. Like, maybe if I lowered the price a little bit, because it's still so popular, even more people would want to come here. But yeah, because I've never had actual 5 guests come here before. So I'm asking again, if anybody knows how to get all 5 people in here, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know the answer to that. But otherwise, that is it. That's the city, guys. I think it's turning out pretty nice. There's, some ugly shit over here that I did that I'm not really sure what my plan was with. And that turned out, kind of like garbage. But otherwise, the city as a whole is doing pretty well. It's functioning. It's The population is growing. We're making tons of money. It's doing everything I need it to be doing. We've got, 5 million in the bank. And yeah, but yeah, otherwise that's it. That's the city. I hope you've all enjoyed a little recap. I also wanted to do it mostly because there's a lot of new people compared to when I originally started. I mean, by episode 3 or 4, I still only had like 8 subscribers, and now there's 100. So there's lots of new people here, and while I'm sure most of them are here for the news about City Skylines 2, for anybody that is enjoying the series but missed the beginning, I figured it'd be cool to do a little recap, and you can skip watching some of my very, very horrible and boring first videos. This is my first YouTube channel, and I'm sort of getting the hang of things as I go along. I hope they're getting a little bit better as you watch, as I kind of learn the ins and outs of how to make them and how to talk and work at the same time. Those little behind the scenes kind of stuff. But yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. So I hope you've enjoyed the recap. I hope you've enjoyed all the videos so far. If you have enjoyed the series and enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a like below. It really helps out the channel, really helps get some more eyes on my videos, that sort of thing. And if you want more of the city and you want to stick around, feel free to subscribe. Turn on those notifications. I do a video for Sunset Mirage once a week at the moment. Probably when we stop having new City Skylines 2 videos come out, I will probably increase that amount to maybe 2 times a week, maybe even 3 if I can manage it. But yeah, when I don't have to do those Monday videos anymore, I might have some more time to build some cities, to do some actual city building on the channel, right? So, yeah, if you would like to see more of the city, feel free to subscribe to the channel and stick around for some of those other videos. Otherwise, I will finally stop talking. I will leave it there. I'll have some nice little cinematics for you to enjoy on your way out. But otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching.